This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud. You hear me? Very proud to be the Patriot. Give you the weather report. It's raining outside. Weather's over. Hey, great Monday morning. I want to apologize. Well, not so much apologize, but I want to say that we weren't real happy. We had the 1190 station on very low power over the weekend, and we did that because we're enhancing the 1190 signal for your listening pleasure. It's going to be stronger, it's going to go out further, and it's going to be the voice of St. Louis and the Metro East for years to come. You know, it's like when you're driving down the street and you got to wait in line and 3 lanes going to 2 and 2 lanes going to 1, and you sit there and you cuss the guys out there doing the work on the asphalt. You cuss them for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, however long it takes. You keep cussing and cussing and cussing. But then at the end of the day, when they take those barricades down and you've got 3 or 4 lanes of great traffic flow, that's what you thank them for. And that's what we did over the weekend. We could have put the power up and had the guys working on it, the engineers, but somebody could have got hurt, and it's not worth it. So anyway, we're back up. We're back and strong. Actually, they're still doing some minor work out there. We're going to tweak it. It's going to be even stronger. So again, we're sorry for the inconvenience. Well, maybe it wasn't an inconvenience for our enemies. Maybe they were happy as hell. But until you see my name in the obituaries, you can bet your ass that I'm going to be here to stay, because I don't give a damn. You know, we all have problems. There's death all around us, and it's not a good thing, but it's a real thing, people. What you have to do is fight through it, move on, because that's what your loved ones would want. And I tell you, every time I see a funeral procession, I think, and I'm silent, and I give them a moment of silence, and I feel for the family. But then I think, now, here's me. Here's all you people listening. How fortunate are we to have another day to make a difference? Another day to make a difference. Don't waste that day. I'm not saying be as crazy as me, go out and fight these bastards like I do. Of course, I enjoy it. Just be a little different than you were. Be a little stronger than you were. And let these no-count, low-life politicians, these no-good-for-nothing pieces of crap, political perverted punks that we call politicians, let them know that you're tired and you're not going to take it anymore. The people that have passed on before us, they can't help us anymore, but we can help them. That can be our legacy. And I don't just mean St. Clair County. I'm talking about that idiot over in St. Louis, Mayor Slay. I'm talking about the idiots in Springfield, Mike Madigan, Senator Cullerton, all these ignorant son of a bitches that have been around for 30, 40 years. It's time, people. It's not an age thing. If there's somebody new to politics and he's going to be a public servant, he or she going to be a decent guy? I don't care if they're 85 years old. We all have something to contribute. Now I want to say again, I'm running for state representative against Eddie the Gerbil Jackson. Now I'm far from being perfect. This guy's been in office. They worked with Springfield with Mike Madigan, who was a big shot attorney in Chicago. Eddie Jackson, Jay Hoffman, Senator Foghorn, I say Buckwheat Claiborne, these son of a bitches. They don't give a damn about me. They don't give a damn about you. They've proven that in the past. So let's just think about it, people. There's death going all around us, and we can't stop it. If we could, we would, because we are. We are the greatest country on this earth. And we can do just about anything. We can take a man to the moon. We can invent Slurpees. But we can't stop death. Just certain things we can't do. So if we get past that and say we can't stop death, and in death you don't do anything, you lay in peace. But in life we can do something. And it's time for all of us. I preach this every day, not just on the radio. I preach it out in the street. And I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for this election. I'm going to fight for you people. And if elected, I'm going to be the craziest son of a bitch. I'm going to give them hell in Springfield like I give them hell down here. And there's going to be people who say, oh, he's a no good son of a bitch. He's a felon. He's this and that. And I'm probably all of the above, like most of us are. But that doesn't mean I can't make a difference. That doesn't mean you can't make a difference. If a guy's walking down the street, just got out of prison for killing somebody, not me. I mean, I thought about that, but not me. Somebody gets out of prison for killing somebody, rightfully or wrongfully. Sometimes it's more, never deserving, but sometimes a little bit more so than others. But as he's walking down the street after 30 years in prison, heaven forbid your daughter is in the house and there's a fire, and this big, strong guy in prison, he busts the door down, goes up and saves your daughter. Do you give a damn if he's a felon? Do you even give a damn if he's a killer? No, he made a difference. And that's what we're all about. So let's remember that. And also, on a very, very sad note, you've heard me lampoon Willie Big Mac McIntosh, and I've lampooned all the politicians. If they don't want to get lampooned, if they don't want to be talked about, don't get into the political arena. But I've lampooned Willie Big Mac McIntosh, and we became friends. And on a very, very sad note, my friend and friend of many's, but sometime my political foe, as a lot of us are, but nothing trumps death. Willie Big Mac McIntosh passed away a few hours ago after a gallant fight for his health and his life. Willie Big Mac McIntosh was always a formidable political opponent, whoever he fought against politically. But even though he would fight hard till the end to win, he was always respectful and certainly was also a gentle and caring person. At this time, I'd like to send my deepest condolences and sympathy to his lovely wife, Mrs. Joan McIntosh, his children, and all of his grandchildren. Although Willie Big Mac McIntosh may have left us in body, his fighting political knowledge and spirit will be his legacy that he can be proud of. Again, my deepest condolences to the entire McIntosh family for the loss of not only the leader of their family, but also a leader of his community. We will now, out of respect, have a moment of silence. And Big Mac, from me, your family, and your many, many friends, please, Big Mac, rest in peace. We'll be back right after this break.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, and proud to be your First Amendment and all-American station, Radical Radio, and we are proud to be the Patriot. Speaking on a sad note, a good friend of ours, Ted Dietz, nice young man. I want to give my condolences and sympathy to him. He lost his grandmother a day or so ago, and we just want to say, Ted, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And since my incident, I pray a little bit, so there's always something good come out of something bad. But again, people, wise up. We got a short time on this earth. And in the scheme of things, it's a very short time. So make a difference. You don't have to be as crazy as me, but you can be. But make a difference. And when your time comes, you can put a smile on your face and say, hey, the world's a little bit better because of what I did. So Ted Dietz, again, our sincere condolences and sympathies on the loss of your dear grandmother. Stick around a little bit. I've got a great announcement coming up, and it's from a great man. And we'll talk about that momentarily. Let's go ahead. We talked about Slay, and we got a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Grim Reaper, a nice statement that you just made as we walk upon this green earth. Every little thing's kind gesture or a foot and an ass in the right direction always helps somebody young or old, and it's a beautiful thing you just said right there.
Jim, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you saying what I'm saying, but what's in your world?
What's in my world is the falsehood of leadership in this community, this state as a whole. What a gosh dang joke it is. I don't want to really speak my mind pertaining to the language that I like to say, but for the past 3 years, we've been given statistics pertaining to the safety of this city. And every time the statistics came out, the police chief and the mayor would stand up on a podium and said that they are over-exaggerated and not really the true vision or what we're really trying to do in the city as far as safety is concerned. And they're really not the true facts. Well, the true facts are this, okay? Men and women and children are being shot in these streets, and they're telling us that, oh, by the way, it would take 8 months to 9 months in order to train new police officers in order to have them out on the street. Anybody with a half a brain, and I'm giving them credit on a good day, would know that this train was coming down the tracks years ago.
Right.
Years ago. And here they are. They're worried about a minimum wage increase in the city. They're worried to make sure that gay marriage is going to be done in City Hall when he broke the law when it wasn't legal at the time to do it. Nothing against that, but the priorities of this mayor, this governor, is just sickening for the community. And you know who is suffering? Are the taxpayers of this city and this state are getting drugged under the bus time after time after time. This is a rudderless ship that's going to crash and sink soon. And it's really getting old. It gets old when the police chief and the mayor says, well, we can't have a cop on every corner. Well, I'll tell you right now, in certain areas, you're going to hotspot, community check, and do the police work, so on and so forth. Give the officers the resource that these gentlemen and ladies need to do in order to do their job, and make sure that you do not put a falsehood and make statements that aren't true pertaining to the crime in this city and in this state. It's a disgrace, and it needs to stop, Grim Reaper.
Hey, Jim, I talk about that all the time in Belleville and St. Louis. First, I supported Louis Reed, a great man, the president of the board of aldermen, give him $50,000 because I was that supportive of him. He wasn't supportive of me, and this no-count rotten bastard, this little sawed-off son of a bitch, Slay, gets on KMOX and says, why is that felon giving Lewis Reed $50,000. And I got back on the air, Jim, and I said, listen, because I don't live in St. Louis, but my family travels to St. Louis. We shop in St. Louis. We spend money in St. Louis. But, Jim, that's going to be a ghost town because I no longer travel to St. Louis unless it's an emergency. I no longer shop and eat in St. Louis because I'm afraid for my safety as it is in Belleville. This mayor of Belleville, Eckert, sits there and lies and says it's safe. I'd rather lose a vote than a life, Jim. What do you think?
I agree 100%. And the perception is everything. And then people are understanding what's going on in the city now. From outside the city, they know what's going on. The political correctness train must get on the track and go down and make these people understand we're not taking your crap no more. Okay? Look what's happening in Chicago, New York, so on and so forth. You can't stop and frisk no more in New York. The crime rate, murder rate, is up higher now than it's been in 20 years. Look at Chicago. They're murdering people at the rate of 10 a weekend. And this government, local, national government, sits on their ass and does nothing. They act like it's not happening. They want to put signs up, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. The reality is this, okay? Until you get your organizational skills in line, hire more police, have a leader instead of just political correctness cronies in office like the mayor and the governor in this state of Missouri and Illinois, wake up. The people are begging, are just waiting for someone to lead them, okay? There's nobody in office. It's an empty suit. And it's going to continue like this until we step up, elect the right and proper people, like the individuals you have on your program that state all the time, I'm a public servant. We don't have that no more in this state,
right.
And we don't have it in this city. There is no leadership whatsoever. And you're going to point fingers at everybody else, not you, but the politicians are going to point fingers at everybody else when it's really convenient for them. And then when it's election time, like you always bring up to the point, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And the promises are all empty, just like their skulls. You have a wonderful day. God bless you, and God bless your family. And Grim Reaper, you are a man amongst men. God love you and keep up the great fight, sir. Amen.
Hey, hey, Jim, you made my day, buddy. Thank you very much. Very well said. Not what you said about me, but everything else was very well said. Thank you very much. Let's get to our housekeeping, our community billboard a little bit. I don't want to miss this. And then we're going to go. We've got a great announcement, and I've got some other things we want to talk about because I'm back on track, people. It's been a couple weeks, and I've been kind of down in the dumps. But I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna let everything that happened pull me down to the point where I can't help my community, I can't help my country, and you all better feel the same way. The AmVets Post 51, located at 5100 Lakeview Drive in Granite City, starting September the 13th, already started every Sunday until November the 22nd. Turkey shoots are starting up from noon to dusk. That's every Sunday until November 22nd at the AmVets Post 51 out of Granite City. Pancake breakfast, all you can eat, don't forget. October the 3rd from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. at the Franklin Lodge in Alton, Illinois. Steve Miser having a concert at the Muscuda Moose Lodge. The great people in Muscuda want to say hi to all you great people. I was out there a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be headed out that way again. Steve Miser, Sunday, October the 4th from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Muscuda Moose Lodge, located at 111 North 2nd Street in Muscuda. $10 tickets, $12 at the door. You can call Danny Krantz, a great gentleman out of Muscuda, at 618-531-7445 for information. And it's sponsored in part by the Southside Auto Body Incorporated and the Muscuda Moose Lodge, 815. All the proceeds benefit the Muscuda Food Pantry. Thank you guys very much for that. The Misfit Toys Car Club, hosting their annual car show at Jefferson Barracks on Sunday, October the 4th. Any information, you can contact 314-898-6655. The benefit ride, all vehicles welcome. All proceeds donated to the St. Labori Grade School. That'll be Saturday, October the 10th. Sign-up starts at 11:30 a.m. Ride starts at the Great Brick House Bar and Grill across the church from St. Labori. The first annual, that was gone. Have to throw that out. Oktoberfest for St. Mary's Catholic Church in Alton, Illinois. That'll be held on October the 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's a small church, St. Mary's Church in Alton, so if you guys can get out there and support them in the Alton area, Bethalto, Godfrey area, please do. You can contact the good people at 618-465-4284. Don't forget, you can pick me up on iTunes. Type in Bob Romanik and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. You can go to our streaming site, insanebroadcasting.com. One word, common spelling. Please like us on Facebook at KQQZ 1190 AM and also our sister station at KZQZ 1430 AM. You can also hear my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m. and now from the graveyard to the graveyard shift every night, Monday through Friday at the stroke of midnight. I want to say hello to all the great officers for the Waterloo, Illinois Police Department. I was told they all listen, and hey guys, we sincerely appreciate that. And I want to salute you, and again, every police department every day. We may not say it every day, but you're in our hearts and in our thoughts because you guys are out there doing a great job. So today I want to especially salute the Waterloo, Illinois Police Department and all the good people in Monroe County. I met some people Sunday at a tailgate party, a lot of great people from St. Laborie, Freeburg, the Millstadt, Mascoutah area, but especially Matt and Denise and their three great sons, Garrett, Wyatt, and Bennett. They're all from Oakville. They were at the tailgate. Great family, except they're for the Steelers. But that's okay. But Matt and Denise and Garrett and Wyatt and Bennett, Cronin, I appreciate giving me all the information you did, and thank you for all the accolades. Also want to say hi to Mary Ann Cronin. She's a loyal listener, so thank you very much, Mary Ann, for listening. Also, James and Joyce Roy from East St. Louis. And last but certainly not least, Brett Wessel. He's with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 525. He's the assistant business representative. He says they all listen. And again, guys, we salute all of you. You don't get a salute. You don't get any acknowledgement when you build the bridges, when you put the electric in the big buildings, when all you laborers and unions do all the work. You never get acknowledged, but I want to acknowledge you, all unions, for a job well done. On this date, September 29th, 1829, Scotland Yard, London's newly organized police force, went on duty for the first time. On this date, September 29th, 1849, the first passenger train to New York began. On this date, September the 29th, 1890, the first pro baseball game. The New York Metropolitans beat Washington Nationals in New York City. On this date, September the 29th, 1950, the world's first telephone answering machine was created by Western Bell Electronic Laboratories. On this date, September 29th, 1951, the first network football game to be televised in color on CBS. On this date, September 29th, 1966, the Chevy Camaro was introduced. On this date, September the 29th, 1982, we all remember that, 7 innocent people in the Chicago area died after unwittingly taking extra-strength Tylenol capsules that have been laced with cyanide. On this date, September 29th, 1995, O.J. Simpson's trial was sent to the jury. That's what happened on this date, September the 29th, throughout all these years in our world's history. You guys all know that this is the First Amendment station, and I have 3 people yesterday in the radio car I drive by, they honk, and the fourth one, I guess they thought I was in the military because they give me a one-finger salute. So you know what, everybody don't like everybody, and I understand that, and I appreciated that, and I thanked the guy, and I saluted him back. So everybody was happy, but that's our First Amendment. But Paul Jones from Creve Coeur, Missouri, the Grim Reaper should be called the Grim Reefer because that's what he's smoking. He's so far up the Republicans' party ass. Basically, he talks about how the Republicans, good, the Democrats, bad. That's a lie. That's a lie, Paul Jones. I talk bad about the Republicans if they need to be talked bad about. And he says, blah, blah, blah. Proud black community. The Grim Reaper is a wannabe black and doesn't even know what the real blacks want. I will not listen to 1190. Paul Jones from Creve Coeur. Well, you idiot, apparently you listened, you stupid idiot son of a bitch. But let me tell you, Paul Jones from Creve Coeur, first and foremost, I sincerely want to thank you for exercising your First Amendment rights, the rights that our brave military heroes fought and some died for. So I want to salute you sincerely for that. I appreciate that you have and did use your First Amendment rights. Having said that, as I respected your right to express your First Amendment rights, now, if you will, let me exercise my First Amendment rights. And I'm asking you, Paul, do you call your mother your girlfriend? First, I want to ask that. Is your mother also your girlfriend? I'm just asking because from Creve Coeur, and there's a lot of good people in Creve Coeur, but I think you're probably the town idiot of Creve Coeur, and that's my First Amendment right. And I'm just asking, when people drive by your house, do they see sheeps in your backyard? Do they see sheeps in your backyard? You idiot. And I'm just asking, are they there for your sexual pleasure? I don't know. Hey, Paul Jones, I'm exercising my First Amendment rights as you've done yours. You complete piece of human crap. Do you know what inbreeding means? I kind of think you do. And you're kind of like the bozo bastard of Creve Coeur. But, Paul, I do want to thank you. I want to thank you, you idiot. I can't read some of this stuff. He can't spell. He's as bad as I am. But then you ask about, I want to be a black. No, I want to be an American. Black or white, Hispanic. I want to be an American. And you say, I don't even know what the real blacks want? The hell I don't, you idiot. They want what the whites want. They want what the Hispanics want, what the Asian wants. They just want fairness and freedom. That's all we all want. Paul Jones from Creve Coeur. So if anybody knows Paul Jones out there, tell him I think he's a complete idiot, but I salute him for at least exercising his First Amendment rights. Got a thing here from Childress Police Department in Childress, Texas. The chief writes back to this person who wants "In God We Trust" taken off the patrol cars. Now, we've got a lot more things to worry about than what's on a patrol car. Says, Dear Annie, after carefully reading your letter, I must deny your request in the removal of our nation's motto from our patrol units and ask that you and the Freedom from Religious Foundation go fly a kite. That's from Chief Garcia for the Childress Police Department in Childress, Texas. Hey, Chief, thank you very much. There was something in the, I want to salute first, I want to salute Ed Cockrell and Frank Allegastein. The county board okays the Pledge of Allegiance rules. These two guys, true Americans, had to bring forth an ordinance to make people say the Pledge of Allegiance. What's this country coming to? But Ed Cockrell, Frank Allegastein, two true leaders of St. Clair County, I want to salute you and thank you for a job well done. I read in the newspaper, part of the newspaper, they talk about the midgets, the mighty midgets. And says here, there has been much talk about the Freeburg midgets. Maybe they call it the Freeburg mutts. You know, last week, there was an article where the Little People's Association, they're going to boycott the concession stand at the Freeburg Midgets football games. Freeburg is playing Columbia this Friday night. I think it starts at 7. We will be out there. The radio station, I'm going to be out there. And I'm going to donate $500 to the Freeburg concession stand. So anybody that wants to come out and have a hot dog and a soda on me and the radio station and the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, they're a part of this movement. Come on out because there's going to be $500 donated because if they do, if anybody tries to boycott the Freeburg Midgets, at least their booster club and the children will have $500 in their coffers. So this Friday, I'll be out there. Some of the Freedom Coalition representatives will be out there, and we're going to donate $500. So anybody wants to come out the Freeburg concession stand, they can be our friends, our enemies. We don't care. We're not going to boycott it. We're going to show them how proud we are of the Freeburg Midgets, how proud I am of all the people in Freeburg who have stood tall. And maybe this is not the most serious cause in the world, but it's a cause of democracy. It's a cause of freedom. It's a cause of freedom of speech. And I know you good people in Freeburg, you're not going to let our brave military heroes, all of them buried throughout our national cemeteries, especially are the closest one, Jefferson Barracks. You good people of Freeburg, you're not going to let those military heroes die in vain. You're going to exercise your rights that they fought and died for. So I want to salute everyone in Freeburg for a fight well fought and a fight worth fighting for. And we will be out there Friday, $500 to the concession stand to show our support for Freeburg, the good people of Freeburg, and the Freeburg Mighty Midgets. So come on out and get a hot dog, get a soda. We will not boycott. We're going to show what we're going to do for the good people of Freeburg. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to be with a good friend of mine, a public servant for many years. And I think he's got an announcement to make, and we'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, and proud to be your First Amendment and all-American station. Radical radio at its finest, and we are, as always, and stand tall to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. I want to put a shout out, we're talking about Freeburg, to a nice gentleman, Joel Wallmeister. He's trying to drum up support for the mighty Freeburg Midgets, the Freeburg Mighty Midgets, I'm sorry. So Joel Wallmeister, thank you very much, sir, for being a stand-up gentleman. And also, the Marquette Catholic High School in East Alton, Illinois, received the call. They received the call and said that they're responsive and they're in support of the Freeburg Mighty Midgets. So I want to put a shout out to Marquette Catholic High School in East Alton for also being stand-up people. Read in the paper, Rick Stone, my good buddy, he's leaving the coroner's post after 34, 36 years. And they're putting a candidate up, Calvin Dye Sr. Bill Dye was the ex-chief in Washington Park, East St. Louis, that fired me many, many years ago. So kind of Freudian slip, but Calvin Dye, not a bad guy. I thought at one time he was a proud black man. He left the state police after 30-some-odd years, and I salute him for that. But after that, he continued his job, people. He was a contract laborer. He made his $80,000, $90,000 a year in pension for working all those years. Then he come back as a contract laborer, where he did the same thing, but he got to keep his pension and he got to start getting his pension. So he circumvented the pension process, the pension system in Illinois, and that's what's wrong. So here's Calvin Dye, did a great job as a trooper, but after he retired and took his $90,000 after making $100,000, he goes back doing the same job, but as a contract laborer. So he gets his extra $100,000 doing the same job he did. And then he also gets his $90,000 in pension. So we're paying him a couple $100,000. And I still kind of thought he was a proud black man. But then after that 5 years, contract ran out, sucking at the public trough. He goes to work for the sheriff's department as a bailiff. And he ate out of the public trough. Now he's getting his pension from the state. And now he's getting a salary from us. He's twice he's getting 2 checks that us, the taxpayers, are paying for. And you know why he got the job? Because it was a political job. He sat around there, and then a job came up at the state's attorney's office as an investigator. Nobody from below the hill or above the hill that had a family member or themselves that were qualified to be a state's attorney investigator. Did we see that in the paper? Was that advertised to get the best candidate? No. They give it to Calvin Dye Sr. And they give it to Calvin because I thought he was a proud black man. And I know he's a good family man, but he's now in the category of the plantation Negro. The white boys have elevated him. Now he's a state's attorney investigator making another salary. After 30, 40 years, it says of public service, he's been in public service 40 years. Now, not because the proud black community wanted Calvin Dye, not because the Democratic organization come down and ask all the proud black political people who they wanted to be the coroner candidate. The white boys throw Calvin Dye in as a candidate for coroner. Now, I have to say, Calvin, you're more than qualified to be the sheriff, but you're not qualified at all to be the coroner. But the boys in Belleville slapped everybody in East St. Louis in the face. They didn't they'll ask the proud black community election day for all the votes, and they'll tell you, we don't care if you steal them. We don't care if you go to jail. Just get us the votes. I want to ask the proud black community, even my enemies down there, my political enemies, how the hell do you let those bastards in Belleville just slap you in the face, shove somebody down your throat because that's who they can control. That's who they want. And Rick Stone says, I'm 100% in support and will be working to help Calvin Dye get elected. And Calvin says, I am thankful to Stone for his support. He said he's supporting me 100% and will be working to help me during the campaign. Just another recycled politician. So if you're getting 100% support from Rick Stone, apparently, Calvin Dye, you're going to run your office the way Rick Stone ran it. Very, very unprofessionally. And the people of St. Clair County need better. That's what I'm telling you day in and day out. Calvin Dye is ate at the public trough, and he's proud of it. I've been a public servant for 40 years, and this is a great opportunity for me. For me. Not for you, but for Calvin Dye Sr. Unbelievable, people, black and white. You're never going to get the opportunity until we get rid of the culture of corruption in St. Clair County. And with me today, my good friend, and he's been a public servant. He's been the mayor of East St. Louis. They don't make much money. He's a proud black man. He's been a Democrat who's voted for the Republicans if he thought that's what was good for his community of East St. Louis. And he's taken heat in the past. But as everything else, as time goes on, people say, I'm glad Carl Officer did that. I'm glad he was for some Republican governors because they brought something to our city that the Democrats would never bring. He's a successful business owner. Comes from a proud family. His mother and father, great funeral home directors and people. Carl Officer has been the mayor. He doesn't count on that $20,000, $30,000 he's got to live. He's a successful businessman, a leader of the community, a licensed mortician, funeral director, and it's not easy to become that. People think that, hey, you just go take a course or two. No. It's a career opportunity, and there's a lot of education involved. So with me today, and the ex-mayor of East St. Louis, our good friend, doesn't please everybody all the time because when Carl takes a stand, he takes a stand like I do for what he believes in. And sometimes it's not real popular, but he can sleep good at night. Mayor Carl Officer, it's an honor to have you here today, sir.
Good morning, Bob. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you, but I want to start off by saying I want to offer my condolences again to the friends. I've already spoken to the family of Willie McIntosh, and I just left their home, and his lovely wife, Joan. And as you can imagine, because you've just gone through this also, it's a tough situation, tough time for them right now. But I heard you speaking about him, and I said, let me stop up here and holler at you this morning. And I know you had been asking me about some other issues, and I told you if I was getting close to that situation, I would come here to your radio station and talk about it first. And that's one of the reasons I'm here.
Have you seen the light, Mayor? Have you seen the light?
Well, I'm not going to say I had an epiphany.
Okay.
And I certainly am not going to be like the president and say I've evolved. No, I've looked at some just common sense. For the last 6, maybe 7 months, I've had men and women, both below and above the hill, from both the Democratic and the Republican Party. I am very proud of the work that Roger and I have been doing with the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition. I was certainly not planning on seeking an office. I'm very comfortable with what I do every day. My biggest job being the father of a 14-year-old girl.
That is something.
A freshman in high school.
Hey, I want to put a shout out to Carly. Carly Officer, what a great, beautiful young lady.
Yeah. Well, she's my boss. Okay. And one thing I do know is I service perhaps 20 families a week throughout both sides of the river, and I see death on a regular basis, but I see it in such a different concept and such a different perspective. And my parents, my grandparents always taught my sister, my brother, and I to deal with compassion and care for people. And so therefore, I've been having these people ask me to run for coroner of St. Clair County. And I finally came to the conclusion early this morning to simply say, okay, I would come to your radio station and say, if the voters of St. Clair County want me, I will serve. I have given permission to those men and women who came by to speak to me that they can circulate petitions with my name.
Thank you.
And if they get a cross-section of petitions throughout the county, I will certainly be honored to be their standard bearer to be nominated for the office of coroner.
So there is a draft. County. There is a draft, and I've heard that in Belleville. There has been for the last couple of weeks a draft, Carl, officer for coroner. So if the people will get together, Mayor, will you commit to running for coroner of St. Clair County and giving them the professional service that they've wanted for 30, 40 years?
This is exactly what I'm saying this morning here at your radio show, is that after 6 or 7 months of listening to people back and forth from all walks of life, I will certainly strongly consider and allow my name to be placed in nomination.
Now, it'd be like Trump. Trump says he's qualified, most qualified. At this point, and I know you like Calvin Dye, and I like Calvin personally, I just don't like his politics. You are by far, and don't be so humble, you're by far the best candidate for coroner. You know the death investigation. You've been through all the training. You know about families. You know how to handle the families in good and bad situations. Who else is more qualified than Carl, officer?
Well, I'll answer that in a very simple way. Yes, Calvin is my friend. The best way for me to answer that is just I'm proud of my credentials from the time that I became a deputy coroner in St. Clair County in 1976 till to date. I don't think there's probably anyone else that has seen more death in terms of seeing bodies, servicing death certificates, servicing families, than anyone in southern Illinois. Every funeral director I know, every deputy coroner I know, every police department I know, nobody's probably seen as many families, has seen as much death, and has dealt with it on such many different levels, from dealing with insurance companies to doctors to the families, and that's just a record that speaks for itself. I mean, I'll be a licensed funeral director and embalmer in Illinois and Missouri next year for 40 years. It's a long time.
Yeah. Well, apparently you've done a good job, and people appreciate your sincerity and your professionalism, because, it's a business that's very, very successful for you, and it's only because of your parents, your grandparents, and you and your sister now carrying on the tradition. So
absolutely, I wouldn't have been here if it had been for my grandparents and my parents and the help of the Lord. I listen to you talk about the education. Some days I laugh because I've got 2 young students in my mortuary right now. And I tease them, they got to take their exams. I could probably pass the biology test. I could probably pass the microbiology. I could pass the anatomy, the anatomy and the pathology. If I had to take 26 hours of chemistry again, college chemistry, I don't think I'd have a license anymore.
Is that a 2-year course, 4-year course?
4-year course.
See, people don't understand that.
You've got to go and get a 4-year degree. Then you've got to spend another year as an internship before you can be licensed in the state of Illinois. And the amount of work and the amount of study is tremendous.
Mayor Carl Officer, I guarantee you the people of St. Clair County are happy and proud to hear that you are going to be a candidate. You're not a perfect guy, but I'll tell you what, when you've got a cause, when you believe in something like you did as mayor of East St. Louis, you'll fight for it. You don't care. You're going to fight for it. You're part of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, as is I and Roger Cook and thousands of other people. So if you people are concerned about better government, you can give the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition a call. You can see Mayor Carl Officer on the street. Let's make sure he's drafted as a candidate for coroner, probably the best qualified candidate for coroner, in my opinion, in the last 75 years. Mayor Carly Officer, what's your final parting words?
Well, I just want the people of St. Clair County to be comfortable in every aspect of what their choices are next year. We read story after story about tax plans. We listen to what's going on in Springfield. We listen to what's going on in Washington. When Roger and I began this quest, we were concerned about St. Clair County. This is where you live. You've heard about all politics is local. At the end of the day, you and I as taxpayers, as citizens, we've got to be concerned about how our children, our grandchildren, our parents, our seniors, how are they going to live and what kind of culture will they live in? And I think that's what the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition is concerned about. Every one of us have been successful in our businesses. We've been successful in our endeavors. Our desire is to serve the people of St. Clair County. And as Roger often says, you want to vote the person, not the party. God bless you and thank you.
Mayor Carl Officer, you heard it right here. You heard it first. And I guarantee you, this won't be the last you hear of Carl Officer. In parting, again, I want to give our condolences to Willie Big Mac McIntosh's family. Great family. Joan, the wife, and the children and the grandchildren. Want to say, I know what it feels, as we all do. We've all experienced death, and it's not pretty, but it's real. So, Willie Big Mac McIntosh, please rest in peace. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical radio at its finest, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Come on back tomorrow. We'll be discussing whatever you good people want to. We're going to be moving forward. Life goes on, people. Remember, we take the tragedies, we mourn, we cry. We cry a lot. And then we move on, because that's what everyone that have passed on before us would want us to do. Want us to be successful, want us to be positive, want us to do something constructive for our community, and that'll be our legacy to the ones that have passed before us. So let's all continue, not just politically, in real life. Politics isn't real, but in real life, let's treat each other decent. But we will, at some point, have to get back to destroying this culture of corruption in St. Clair County. And together, as always, we can unite. We can expose these no-count, good-for-nothing, political, parasitical punks that we call politicians. And we can destroy them, put that political stake right through their political heart and destroy them. Politically, of course, right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.
Your First Amendment and All-American station. A division of Insane Broadcasting. Renegade Radio.
KQQZ, St. Louis.